Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist,
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
and we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have Roadwork by Josef K. So, the story is by, like I said, Josef K, or their actual name is Cameron Suey. And it's on creepypasta.wiki as well as the stories of Josef K. So you can go check them out there. And I will just kind of go into the scant rundown I have. So we have this courier of ill repute, Connor. He is driving.
Did you call him
a courier of ill repute?
Courier.
Courier, the same thing.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah. He's a runner.
Mm-hmm.
A runner in the shadows, as it were.
That's true.
And he's parking out of into a gas station in like the middle of like the wilderness in North Carolina, and he's freaking out. Goes and calls his boss Reynolds, and is just saying that he's getting a bad feeling about this new package that he's delivering. Because like he didn't like the look of the guy and that he got it from, and like he's not certain about this thing. And then Reynolds very calmly like reassures him, like, dude, you're the best runner I have. You can do this. Just don't open up the package. Just drop it off and then go and collect your check and go. So Connor, kind of a little bit bolstered by that, goes back into his car and starts driving. And he's been getting these like headaches, or this headache that he was having. Like that was kind of the spark of like his like fear and stuff. Starts returning, and then he starts hearing like this noise coming from the trunk as well, like a thumping. So he's driving through the woods of North Carolina, and kind of dealing with like after a few hours is dealing with like the like basically sleep deprivation, like trying to stay awake on the road. And then the pain flares up, and then he sees that the road ahead is like, it's like gone up into the sky, like it's like twisted up. So he like brakes hard and like pulls over, and then he looks back and it's fine. So the road's, it's just normal road again. So at this point he decides to go check he can't stand it anymore. He has to go check the package. He like, fuck it, like he's got to check the trunk. He opens up the trunk to see what it is, because it's driving him nuts. And he finds that there is this, like, underneath some safety blankets, there is this like horribly like wrecked human corpse, and like got buckshot in it, and its like head is partially like fragmented. One of the arms is ripped, is like kind of like all like broken, and that's when he like, okay, all right, that was weird, and that's fucked up. I'm going to keep driving. And so he keeps driving, and then some point on his drive, he like maybe through like lost time or something like that, he finds himself somewhere he has nowhere he is. Like it's like he's basically out in an open field instead of forests, and it's just an endless road of highway, like 4-lane highway, and there's nobody else there, and it's just him. And so he's just driving, and he comes across, he figures like, all right, this is fucked up. I'm going to try and stop at the nearest like station and figure out where I am and stuff. As he's driving, he sees some lights up ahead, but it's not like a station or anything like that. It's like it's some construction sites going on, and there's a sign saying road work ahead. So he's like, all right, well, I'll just slow down and follow this. And he starts following the directions of the pylons and stuff, and then realizes that like there's nobody working. It's just this construction, like these pylons are all set up, but there's no work being done. And then the pylons basically cut off all of the lanes as he's been like adjusting for them. And so he's just like, fuck it, and just guns through the pylons, and just like at this point he just wants, like, he doesn't care if he gets stopped by cops or anything. In fact, that would be a relief because it would be another human being. But then as he's driving past, he doesn't get anybody. There's nobody there. and then the road just becomes a plain of asphalt. And he just stops because he's suddenly not in like the world he knows. And he gets out of the car in a fearful panic, just to try and get away from the car and try and think of what's going on. And then he just starts running out onto this plain of asphalt. And eventually he sees some lights that he thinks like might be somebody, but then as he gets there, it's the lights and the sounds of his car. It's his car, and so he gets there and he sees that his phone's ringing in the seat, in the driver's seat. So he goes and picks that up, and it's Reynolds asking him what's going on, and did he open the did he break the, or did he open the lock to the package? And he's like, and so he goes and checks, and when he opens it, he discovers that it's not a person anymore. The corpse isn't of a person anymore. It's this like weird creature with way too many joints in its arms and limbs. And the wounds on it are healing. Like the buckshot is coming out of the wounds, and like it's like covering up, the flesh is like knitting back together, almost like Wolverine style. And it's staring back at him with this like shark grin. And so he falls back. He doesn't remember falling back, but then he's back in the woods on the side of the road, and he suddenly remembers everything that happened in the last hour. Like he remembers tearing off the corpse also had this like this necklace thing with like a circuit, like kind of a collar, like basically like some kind of a collar with a blinking light. He remembers taking that off of it and throwing it into the woods. He doesn't know why he did it, but he just did it. And then he remembers forgetting everything and then like this, as this is all going on, as he's trying to recall this stuff, the creature just stands up out of the trunk and comes out and faces him. And basically, as Connor is just starts standing up and like confronting this creature, he begins laughing almost like sadly, because he's like, this thing is going to get him, and it goes to like grab onto him, and it starts laughing with him, and that's where we end. So that was Roadwork. So I guess we will move on to Everyone Tolerates the Grandma Inquisitions. At this point, story had like 2, I think, that I was able to find. Let me just see if I can pull them up. I also, because I read this like yesterday, I did not format it properly, so I'm going through my Google Notes, my Google comments here. All right, so for the first thing I found, the silent forests surround him, and his eyes held fixed on the corpse, the dead hobo with an electric collar in the trunk. So I think we might want to go with the silent forest surrounding him, or the silent forest surrounded him, and his eyes held fixed on the corpse, the dead hobo, yada yada yada.
What was it instead?
It was just surround, like the silent forest surround him.
Oh yeah.
So it's a tense issue.
Yeah. Which y'all know how I feel about tents. It's either a teepee or a wigwam. Really? Nothing?
Footage.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one.
Tired.
I noticed. Are you okay? Are you okay there, gamer?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Just fall out of my chair.
We just hear you slam your face into your keyboard. All right, on to the next one. The line of cones veered again, blocking of the next lane. So I think you could either go with so the line of cones veered again, blocking off the next lane, or blocking to the next lane, because at this point he's still merging through like to different lanes. So it could either be like it blocked off the next lane, or it blocked to the next one, to kind of like segue to that. And I believe that is my Grammar Inquisitions. There wasn't a lot for this one, for me anyway. Mikey.
I have two, but they're both the same. Basically, uh, what was done was they used of instead of off.
Yeah. Is that the same thing that I just did? Is it the same
Well,
sentence?
no.
Was there another one? Okay.
Uh, t- 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 without the lines, without the lines of the road, he suddenly felt he was drifting, veering of the road.
Oh, yeah, okay. How did I miss that? Wow.
Then another one that was very close to that one was the sound of his own voice shocked him, causing him to leap slightly, and he let his foot of the pedal.
Oh, okay. So just missing. This is missing. We have a PB, BPB, or no. I was gonna do a stupid like search and rescue joke, but never mind. on looking for missing Fs because we have 3 missing Fs in the story, but never mind. I failed.
I mean, it would have been fine if you just kept going with it instead of immediately putting the brakes on.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the hell what is the BPB, like that's what I couldn't remember. APB, is that what it is?
PB and J, actually.
Yeah, PB and J, APB. Well, I don't know. Fucking cops.
It's an APB.
Yeah, APB. Yeah, we got an APB on Fs, on 3 missing Fs. There, I've done it. Guys, we're tired. We're sorry.
Just fix it in editing. It's fine.
Will I? Will
It's
I?
future Chris's problem.
I don't know if I will, just because of how silly this gag has been so far. How we keep adding onto it. So, anyways, yeah. Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah, and then I have an it story.
Oh my.
All right, and this it story, it does have some dialogue, but I find it makes it funnier. So.
Do it.
Just do it. Sorry.
All right. It looked squat and malign in its stillness. It's a payphone. It's better if you don't know. It galled Connor how stupid he'd sounded, how stupid he'd been, panicking and calling Reynolds late in the night. It wouldn't help. The package is locked up anyway. It worked for a few minutes. It was the phantom smell from before, but now it felt cloyingly real, clinging to his nostrils. It was simple now. It didn't work. It was a while before he came to realize that the radio was no longer on. It's not fair, he thought, and then repeated it again aloud. It resolved from the gloom as he approached. Tall black letters reading "Road Work Ahead." It wasn't what he'd hoped for, but it was a change and something to break the impossible blankness of the unknown road. It didn't take long for him to decide. It was the sound that made it real. It was still ringing. It seemed to yield to his incursion, allowing him in to shut off the engine and grab the phone. It was Reynolds's voice, but something was wrong. It grinned, revealing not the black and rotted teeth he'd remembered, but a shark's grin. It was out now, crouched and waiting. Its dark eyes flickered in the moonlight. It leaned forward toward him, the shark teeth glistening with spit. Its touch was cold, and the knobby fingers felt like the tightening of vices.
Done.
Finn.
Yeah, I was actually following along with you the whole time, or at least by the end, by the half part of that. Yeah. Yeah. Eh.
There's a lot of them.
That is one terrifying telephone.
Yep.
And so that's it for your grammar positions.
Yep.
All right. Gamer, do you have anything?
That's been talked about.
Did we catch it? Okay. Then I guess on to actual thoughts. So I'm going to start off with the image. So there's an image that accompanies this story. It's a photo of a roadwork sign, and like it's. But while yes, it is apt, it's partially apt because it is in fact a construction sign that says roadwork on it. But the background of the photo doesn't match up with the story at all.
Yep.
It's a suburban like street, whereas the story takes place almost entirely on either a highway on an open plains or out in like the middle of the woods.
More importantly, at night.
Yeah, and at night. Yeah, exactly. So it gets half points for being semi-connected in that it does tie in with the road sign symbol, which is actually a focal point in the story, but it looks like it was just like a photo that the guy just grabbed because it had a roadwork sign. So the other thing I found out, and this is about the author. So Josef K. I think we have we had a recommendation early on about Josef K's stories. But I didn't realize that Josef K was a pen name for Cameron Suey, which seems to be the case. As Cameron Suey is the guy that owns the stories of Josef K and like the Josef K Twitter and all that stuff. He's a freelance writer in the gaming industry as well as like other industries. He's written and been a narrative designer for games like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed and The Rise of the Tomb Raider. So, and when he's on the side, he does short horror fiction and creepypastas.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it kind of to me, like after I found that out after I'd finished reading the story, and I was like, man, this guy's like really good. This is a really good fucking story. Like this is like really descriptive and everything. And then I found out who the guy was. Like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Because yeah, that kind of goes into my next thing here. So we're about like 3 paragraphs in, and I read this. He glanced around at the station. 2 solitary pumps and a closed convenience market. An isolated island of pale yellow light in the dark of the North Carolina forest. The silhouettes of the trees bit sharply into the starry night sky, surrounding him like a ring of teeth. The grating hum of electricity mingled with the crackling of insects from the woods beyond, drifting in the warm summer night air. Oh, damn. This story started off with some super flowery descriptors, just like, moi, chef kiss, like in terms of like writing. And it continued on. Like it really didn't like stop. Like there was no like it didn't really rush. It didn't like kind of fall into that trap some creepypastas have, where like they start off strong, and then by the end they're kind of just rushing. At least I didn't feel that way when I was reading the story. The next thing I have is so just regarding the dialogue between Reynolds and Connor. So like Connor being like the driver and Reynolds being like the mastermind or like the boss of this runner group, this courier group. So it's like, where are you? Service station, just off the freeway, but to head. Oh no, sorry, damn it. All right, well, I'll talk about that one. Hang on. So that's farther than that. So yeah, so this is like the kind of a little piece of the dialogue what we get from Connor and Reynolds. I understand. It galled Connor how stupid he'd sounded, how stupid he'd been, panicking and calling Reynolds late at night. I know you do. And I know this one is odd, son. I do. I hope you believe me when I say that it makes me as uncomfortable as it makes you. I do it myself. but no one is as good as you. I'm smart enough to know when to trust the best. Thank you, Ren. No, Connor. Thank you. No. Now get back on the road. When you drop off the car, the client will have his own men to take care of the package, and then you can sleep, and you won't have to work for a year, all for one night's drive. And I was just like, and that's just like a piece of the story, and I'm sure I butchered it with my reading of it, but like, goddamn, I understand that these guys are like illegal runners of some design, but they are almost this writing kind of makes them like really likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least Reynolds seems like a really understanding boss, and it's just like either that or
it's also his job to be.
Yeah. I was like either that or he's just like really good at like he just like nat 20'd his charisma roll, or like rolled like a ton of sixes on his like. On his what is it? Intuition plus or charisma plus leadership in Shadowrun. Like he rolled just like all sixes. Yeah, no, I just I got this like really nice like really good like these characters just seem really like likable, other than the fact that they're illegally running drugs and corpses and what have you between like different like places.
One guy's on speed.
Oh yeah, I mean,
stay awake.
To be fair, I have heard tale of a lot of truckers using speed to keep on the road. So it's not just like it's not just a crook thing. It is also like something that just like drivers of long hauls do. So not all of them, and I'm not saying it's like allowed, but like I'm just saying it's a thing that happens with on both on the legal side and on the illegal side. And another thing to touch on with like the location. So like he says that he's like, where are you? Service station, just got off the freeway, about to head south through Natahala. So I Google food it. Man, North Carolina is rural. Like Northern Ontario rural. Like you could get lost and like you wouldn't find somebody for hours. And just looking at like Google Maps, and like it's basically Natahala. Not when he's referencing Natahala, he's referencing Natahala National Forest. And yeah, it's basically just like it's like the heart of Appalachia. So like basically like rural, rolling mountain, like old mountain hills and forest. So yeah, it's like a very good isolated locale for a creepypasta. Sorry, going through my notes here, see if I have anything else to say. Oh yeah, so when he's having these like weird visions, and then it kind of culminates to like the road, or like the endless road and such, and then we get this ahead. The 4 dotted lines of reflective paint vanished. The 4 lanes evaporated into a featureless plain of smooth black tar. Connor felt empty, beyond shock. Hot tears welled up in his eyes. Without the lines of the road, he suddenly felt he was drifting, veering off the road. Impulsively, he turned sharp to the right. The smooth field of blacktop spread away into the distance of his headlights. Fuck this. And my response at this point was just like, fair enough response. Like, are we in Carcosa? Because you gotta tell us if we're in Carcosa. And I mean, it does get revealed that like there is definitely some kind of like like the thing in the trunk, the corpse thing in the trunk was definitely, or at least insinuated to be behind the hallucinations that he was having. But at this point, like I was just like, what the fuck is going on in this story? And that kind of just culminates down to like the last bit of the story, and where we get this quote here. Disgorged of its hideous cargo, the little car now looked like sanctuary, like hope, like freedom. But the thing stood between him and any chance of escape. It leaned forward toward him, the shark teeth glistening with spit. Connor began to laugh, a hopeless and mournful sound. His limbs locked in fear as it reached out for him, its spider-legged hands curled around his arm, Its touch was cold, and the knobby fingers felt like the tightening of vices. The thing laughed with him. And they went on to be a buddy horror adventure. Or
I wish.
the creature decided to have a late night snack. One or the other. Yeah, this sort of kept pushing me to keep reading. This whole story, like with its descriptions and its like weird, like the bizarre visions the guy kept having, and like just wanting to know what was happening. I had a kind of an inkling early on that it was the thing that was causing the hallucinations, because it is kind of a common trope in horror stories. Kind of like the Pandora's box trying to get opened kind of thing. But it really didn't matter, like, because I just wanted to keep reading. I wanted to know what happened by the end. I wanted to see how this was gonna play out, regardless of like, even if I kind of saw where things were going. I honestly thought that, like, one thing that did kind of strike me was that he was gonna snap out of the hallucinations just right before a truck rammed into him, and he was like, because he was still on the road, right? But then that didn't happen. It turned out that the corpse on the back row was actually like some kind of creature mimicking a humanoid. The creature, it's mysterious as it is. It reminds me of what I might be looking for actually in the Kentucky tree dolphin. And for anybody who's not in the know, last episode, I had Adam from RPX talk about a cryptid that we had kind of offhandedly created a couple of months ago in another episode that I had Adam on, and I've been drawing it up and like kind of fleshing it out over the last couple of months, like off recording and like just like in my own spare time. And I'm so glad, and also kind of pissed that this story, like that we came across this story, and I'm also really happy that we came across the story after I did that episode with Adam where we talked about like basically brainstorming the creature of the Kentucky tree dolphin, because this creature kind of sounded an awful lot like the creature I'd come up with like way too many joints, and like kind of that like Independence Day style of too many joints and like moving really weird, and like it has shark teeth. I don't think I gave it shark teeth. I think mine was more like kind of like a gug looking thing where it had like a vertical slit mouth, but just like the corpse like flesh and like the distorted too many jointed limbs is like really what grabbed me on like kind of the similarities. So yeah, I'm like I'm really happy that we had that story, or we had this story now, and not I didn't read it before that, because I wonder if it would have like changed my perspective on like what I would have done with the Kentucky tree dolphin.
Probably because you would be consciously thinking it's like this,
like
so
this
you
creature.
you would choose to not give it the multi jointed legs and arms and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm glad that I came up with that prior to reading this. I guess it just shows again, like, creepy minds think alike sometimes.
Yeah.
The other thing is, so Connor and Reynolds, they got tasked by transporting an alien for the MIB, or dare I say, the SNTF, right? Like,
Of course.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to borrow this story as like for a Shadowrun, or even like
Shadowrun.
It feels like, or like even like Shadowrun in like in a not so futuristic Shadowrun game, or even like have this be like the opening of like some officers for like Delta Green or the Esoterrorist Agency, or the SNTF. Just throw them into like Esoterrorist or like Fear Itself RPG, and have them like come across this car and this dead dude and have to deal with the creature, and because like their package didn't arrive.
Yeah. See that?
Yeah, I just, yeah, it's just something that struck me as I was reading this, like, so these guys are just like Shadowrunners, right? Or like in like before Shadowrun. Or they're just like coyotes, and coyotes I mean like not the animal, but the actual like the term for like people who like transport goods and people across state borders for money. It's a term for like for the criminal organization of like people that basically traffic things. Yeah, it's just I got that kind of vibe from the story. I love the bizarre visions it threw at Connor, we assume that it threw at Connor, like that's where the visions were coming from. Because I kind of got the idea that this creature was basically some kind of like psychic alien that was just really fucking with his head, because he kept getting the weird pang of pain in the back of his head, and like that weird smell that wasn't actually there. So like, he was like getting like kind of like a telepathic assault on his senses. Yeah, like kind of going back to what I said earlier, whereas like I just kept like the story kept pushing me, like these visions, like the way like things kept happening, like I was like it kept pushing me to keep reading the story and like wanting to know what was going to happen next and like how the character was going to deal with it. As an aside to all that, so I've started listening to dark ambient tracks while reading creepypastas in the last few weeks. So dark ambient, it's a basically it's like a moody, like dark atmosphere, droning tunes. Like there's no real like the melody is more of a droning kind of like tone that you'd hear in like certain horror movies and such. But it really helps me to like kind of stay like focused while I'm reading the story, and also kind of amps up a little bit of the atmosphere. So just as a kind of a slight non-creepypasta recommendation, if you want like some tunes to like listen to while you're reading creepypasta to kind of amp up the mood and atmosphere, or even to keep you focused on reading, I would recommend the Library of Cryo Chamber on Bandcamp, because the last couple of stories I've read, I've been listening to that while reading, and it's really helped like build up the story or like help me stay focused while also kind of amping up the overall like reading atmosphere.
That's really cool.
But yeah, so that's kind of been my that's my thoughts on the story. I really enjoyed it. It was cool. So Mikey, guys, I'm being too positive. Tear it down. I just walk away.
Well, let's see here. My first actual thought here is that I liked the mindfuckery up to a point, and the whole him suddenly remembering what he did gave me some whiplash, because we were there in that scene earlier.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll let you finish because sorry.
Yeah, we were in that. Sorry. Yeah, we were in that scene earlier, and the most it says is that he was basically staring at the trunk, and then he goes into a trance, and then he's staring off in the woods. So
no, he opened the trunk.
Yeah, he opens the trunk. He looks at the monster, and then he
rips off the collar, didn't he?
Well,
it didn't say he did
in the first section.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Before it says he ripped off the collar.
Yeah, but he opened it up, peeled back the blankets, and looked to see what it was. Like, okay, it's a body, cool. Wraps it back up, closes the trunk, and continues driving.
Yeah,
that's what he remembers happening.
Well,
but
no.
In actuality, when he opened it up, because the creature had like direct line of sight on him, it immediately put him in a trance and made him take off the collar and throw it away, and then wipe his mind of doing that. So then while the creature's healing in the back, he's not going to be afraid that his chauffeur is going to do anything bad, because he thinks that he's just a dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have this section here because I just found it. So after it explains that there's a collar with an LED light that winked rhythmically, Connor stared, disbelieving for some time. the silent forest around him, and his eyes held fixed on the corpse, the dead hobo with the electric collar in the trunk. He wanted to be angry. He knew he should be terrified, but it simply didn't make sense, and he could muster no single emotion despite the hundreds vying for release. The headache pulsed sharply, and it pushed him out of his trance, where he found himself staring off into the woods. So,
Okay, so what happened, I'm guessing, is he so in that time he had the creature tranced him, so he remembers what you said early up to like basically the sharp pain, and the sharp pain that like pushed him out of the trance is him snapping out and going basically like is basically him being like snapped out of it to go and like drive. Because then the rest of it is like he remembers like shutting the trunk after wrapping up the body again, and then like wiping his hand and stuff like that. And yeah, just getting back into the driver's seat and starting ahead on the flat road, and breathing oddly calm. Which, yeah, so he's still in the trance. He's still technically that. This is the point of like basically him being infected with the mind influence. Like,
Hence why the road gets more and more fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like at this point, like yeah, like so it does show that like yeah, he snapped out of he suddenly became his eyes suddenly became aware that he was now staring at the woods, not at the trunk. So, but he had no idea. He didn't have that recollection as why he was there. And then we reveal at the very end, because he starts remembering what happened and why he was staring at the woods was because he had been basically coerced into ripping off that collar and throwing it into the woods, and then just staring into the woods before the creature was like, all right, that's enough. Snap it. Like basically it's hypnosis. Like, here, I'm going to snap my finger and you're going to go drive. Kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm with you. Like that whiplash, that whiplash that you're getting is almost like kind of like the same as the character at the very end. Like you're kind of feeling the same thing he's feeling, where it's like, what the fuck? Oh shit, this happened, not the other thing. At least that's how I take it.
Yeah, it's just that bit of whiplash. Like, we were already at that scene, and then we weren't given all the details. But then that's to help get to the reveal later.
Yeah,
so
that was the point. Because it's misdirection, basically.
Yeah, but like and I don't know.
Where am I now? Who am I? And that's when Mikey realized he'd been staring out the window of his kitchen. And that the podcast for 4 years has all been a dream. Oh god.
Long ass dream.
Just those demon squirrels outside your kitchen just like hypnotized you for the last 4 years, for like the last 4 minutes. It's actually 2016. It's still 2016 or 2018.
Please God.
I almost spit up coffee with that, man. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry. Continue on there, Mikey.
Yeah, so that was just my only issue with the mind stuff, was the whiplash.
Okay.
And then the monster was kind of interesting. So,
I mean, visually?
Yeah, because it transforms into a corpse, or from a corpse to a baby-armed street shark with spider leg hands that have knobby fingers.
Well, I know what I'm drawing for the title card this week. I'm just gonna have that description on playback the entire for an hour.
You have steppy arms?
No, like it had like baby arms, right? Like, or baby hands.
Okay, no, it had. I have the description here. The shredded arm was now a thin and reedy limb, pink and newborn, with too many jointed elbows.
No, okay. I see where the issue here is with the description. He means like the skin, like the flesh, is that of like a baby or newborn. Like is pink and fresh as a newborn. Like it's not like the limbs are like
It's not
torn,
literally
like,
a human baby arm.
yeah, no, it's not like they're not like nubby and stuff like that, like a newborn. It's the skin and flesh is like that of a newborn because it's like a gray alien or something like that, right?
Yeah. But when I read newborn, my mind went to baby. So
I know.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There's a lot of poetry in this story. Or a lot of colorful, flowery descriptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay. But yeah.
So we do get a lot of description for the creature at the end.
Yeah.
And it just becomes, whoa, this is weird. So.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's interesting. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Well, gamer, what do you have to say about the story? Your verdict.
Well, when I started reading it, I was a little confused because I felt like it started in the middle of a story.
That's what we like to call in media res, where you throw the person into the story. You don't start with the beginning.
I felt like I just woke up from being in a trance, though. I'd be like, what? Where am I? Who are you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To the story's credit, it does add in the. Yeah, I'll let you continue. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, to the story's credit, it does throw you into media res, like into a scene with no beforehand introduction to things. But then over the course of the next couple of paragraphs, we kind of get to know the situation at hand.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like it just leaves important shit just by the wayside. So I was fine with it. It's just I haven't read too many stories where it just throws me in the middle like that.
Yeah. Or you haven't read stories that have done it well, because sometimes there are creepypastas that do that, but they don't. They leave out certain information that would have been nice.
No. Hell, we don't have a single mayor in here.
No, we know exactly who these people are. The only things that and the characters that we don't have names for aren't really important, like to the situation at hand. Like the man that they got the car from, and the client. They can remain as the weird man that they got the car from, and the client. The story's focus is the story's focus is Connor and Reynolds to a degree in terms of the names.
Yeah, 100%. Either way, my next point, when he's driving around and he sees the road work ahead sign, and he's like being shocked that there's no one working there. Meanwhile, it's in the middle of the night. I don't think they'd be working. I think they work 24/7.
That's actually. Have you not? I don't know if you've driven at night a lot. In the nearby town that we live in, or that we live near, there is constant construction work night and day. Like they actually work overnight so that to avoid traffic issues.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Like the bridges, in the last couple of years, we've had a lot of bridge work being done, and yeah, they almost work especially in the summer when it's really hot. They work ostensibly at night, and so that's why they have all those reflectors and stuff like that on. So yeah,
I suppose, especially in a situation like this where most or all of the road is blocked off, that would be even more of a reason to have everyone there working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'll let that pass. It's fine. My last point is just kind of how it ended. When I first read it, it kind of felt like it just sort of stopped. Like it was building to something, and then it just sort of stops instead of ending with some sort of climax situation happening.
That is
it's
also
he died, but
and that's
it also doesn't matter if he did or not. The monster could have let him go. The monster could have puppeted him or any number of things. But yeah, you were gonna say something, but I kept cutting you off.
My only interjection was just well, that actually is how you sometimes that is the best thing for a horror story to end, is just to leave the reader like to guess what the hell is going to happen next to the person. there are a couple of outcomes, none of them really good. But yeah, like that. Honestly, like I really enjoyed the ending here because it's just basically left like, yeah, we're just gonna fade to black. Like, we're gonna fade to black and see and just let you tease you because this is like that's how like how some good horror stories tend to do. Just gonna leave this off to like let you figure out the worst scenario for poor Connor.
It does lean its way to be potentially buddy horror scenario because they're already like Monster got his hand on his shoulder and they're like laughing together, like you know.
Seriously though, I'm not going to kill you. What?
Just
you actually.
Back home.
Yeah. Just if you, your current job is over, so you're on the run now. So you might as well just hang out with me and we'll get me back home.
And then the monster just like sits in the passenger seat. He's got his like spidery arm like wrapped around
no,
him.
he just morphs back into a human or like or glamours into a human, so he looks normal now again.
Totally.
Yeah.
Of course, that would be silly.
Or even funnier, he's just like there's Connor in the driver's seat, and then the creature, because of his size and such, just occupies all of the other seating in the entirety of the car. Like he's just like coiled around like everything. But yeah, no, I mean, if you wanted to take this even for like do a silly sequel, I would definitely, or like not a silly sequel, but like a buddy horror sequel. Yeah, you just Bonnie and Clyde, or what's a good like cryptid name for like this, like the North Carolina street shark, I guess.
Sort of. I mean, he's got sharp teeth. But...
Oh god, it's the North Carolina street. Yeah, it's the North Carolina street shark. It's a street shark and Connor instead of Bonnie and Clyde. But yeah, but no, I think it's it leaves it open for like the audience to figure out like what the worst case scenario or like the best case scenario in some cases for poor Connor.
Sure. And in regards to the revelation and the remembering of old facts, it actually didn't bother me the way it bothered Mikey, because it's literally in the creature's power set. Yeah. Because it's like as he saw him like get out without his collar on, that triggered the memory of him throwing the collar away.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh fuck! Right, I threw that away. Why did I forget?
Yeah. God, why? Shit! I done fucked up.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got note-wise.
Yeah. This one, I think it's. Yeah, for me, it was just pretty well crafted. So I guess just segue into our final thoughts. I liked it. I'll recommend it 100%. I am not afraid to say that. I absolutely loved the story. I love the creature. I love the read. Again, another recommendation that's not the story, but like check out Dark Ambient tracks on by Cryo Chamber on their Bandcamp. They have a ton of different albums that are all like really good for like listening to while you read creepy stories. So, yeah, I recommend. So, Mikey, your verdict.
All right. Well, I liked it more than I hated the Whiplash, so I'm going to give this a recommendation.
Okay.
So any issues that I had, the mindfuckery was pretty well executed, so that's my verdict.
Cool. And Gamer.
Yeah, I'll recommend it as well. The few points that my lack of notes is usually a sign that I didn't get bothered by the story, or that I read it super duper late, passed out,
woke up with a pasta stick in your mouth,
woke up barely awake to do a recording. But no,
That wasn't it at all.
No, that never happened. Why would that happen? I'm always prepared. Who are you?
Cut the tape. Cut the tape. Cut the.
So this is fine. Yeah, I like the story. Everything was explained quite well. The way it started, I was hesitant because I didn't know how this how that what'd you call that starting?
It's called In
Media
Media
Res.
Res. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't read many stories like that, so I didn't know how this was gonna pan out. But as you said, by the time you get a paragraph or two in, you know all the information that you need to know previously. So it all worked out quite well. Creature was cool. Power set was interesting. I don't know if if the title's apt for this, because there was road work in this, but there was also a lot of other things.
I think it has a double meaning. Actually, it's road work in that a road work is used as like an obstruction, but it's also road work in terms of like what a description for his job. Like it's like not wet work, but it's road work. So like it could almost be like a code for like his kind of wet work or his kind of like his job description for Connor. Because he's always he knows, like it says in the story, he knows this area like basically 100 miles in any direction of this area. Like he knows all the back roads. Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it so terrifying for him, is that like he should know where he is in this neck of the woods, because he knows every back road, he knows every escape route for him, because he's a driver that curries articles of illegal repute from point A to point B for clients. So and he's made a career of like staying out under the radar kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's probably like the big like that might be like the double take the double take on the title here.
Yeah, I could totally see that. In a way, I kind of wish that was said in dialogue, like
yeah, like maybe
Reynolds being like, "You're my best road worker. I need you to get this done for me," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Sweet double meaning.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so I guess I don't have a problem with this story. So yeah, I'll just recommend it all around.
All right. Then yeah, I guess that was a round table recommendation. So that was this week's episode. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, you can leave us a comment in the comment section below where it's posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. We're all on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W, because his name is too goddamn long. And I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Yes, I know our name is spelled wrong. Sue me. Even we get typos.
It was on purpose, because creepypasta spells shit wrong.
Yes, exactly. That's totally no.
Shut up! You can just say yes.
But yeah, you can send us emails there for recommendations of creepypastas, spooky SCPs, just like creepy cryptids and monsters and ghost stories that you would like us to discuss and talk about, and like brainstorm our own kind of creepypasta ideas or game scenario stuff.
Are there any types of spooky stories online that we have not addressed?
That is, I'm not entirely sure. Have we've
done like?
I'm pretty sure we've done
micropasta.
We've done UFOs and aliens, right?
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean the different styles of writing, like micropastas and.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've done SCPs, we've done Reddits, we've done. The only thing we really haven't done is like /X. Like the paranormal, like basically like no, we've even done that. Like early on, I think we did like the Anansi Goatman was basically like done up in that format. Like it was pulled from the X thread on 4chan. So I think we've done like most of the we've even done vlogs, like our ARG, like Slender vlogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only one I think we haven't done is like a non-slender ARG vlog, I think. Unless I'm going senile and have forgotten one that we did. Yeah, I think we've done the wide range of different like creepy storytelling online.
I just didn't know if like after all this time there was still like one or two types that we've been completely glossing over.
That is
If
interesting.
we have, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Or send us an email with a link to it so that we can do it. No, we have it. We did. Wow, we did it like a couple of months ago, like a month ago. We did the vlog ARG or the vlog series No Through Road, which was a non-slender vlog kind of series.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah. But if there is some kind of like creepy narrative like medium that we haven't touched yet that's out there online, I would like to personally know because I would like to get into it. Because I've tackled SCPs, creepypastas, Reddit no sleep stuff, creepy ARGs and vlogs on YouTube. I love watching those things. So please let me know. I want to be scared, or at least creeped out. So yes, please send us those if you think that we have not touched on something. Yeah. And if you'd like to help support the show financially, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rick and Mortis and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you guys immensely because you're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you guys immensely because without your listenership, we wouldn't have much of a show. And without the authors with these stories that we read and discuss, we really wouldn't have much of a show. So thank you. Oh, I guess we'll add in the Redbubble ad. And if you'd like to go to Redbubble and check out Crazon Studios or Al Dente Rigor Mortis and check out the our logo, and you can get them on a pin, you can get them on stickers, you can get them on a shower curtain, on a pillow, on a T-shirt like a normie. You can go check those out, and that would be really awesome. So until next time. I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well. Glad you're on the board.
No problem. I'm bringing my F game. Don't worry.
Yay! All right.
Here's one of the missing Fs.
Get him!
Oh! What'd you find out?
You said it.
Damn it.
You exposed yourself. You only have yourself to blame.